Hey guys, it's Brandon from Hearts Journey Coaching. So before I get into what I want to talk to you about, I want to give you an update on something rather important, which is pre-orders for the book. So I recently was looking at my account for the website I use to publish the How to Quit Mac and Cheese book, and I have not seen any of the pre-orders go out. And I've contacted the company about this, and it seems to be that there is a snafu with a pre-order system, and they've actually lost information on all the pre-orders, which really sucks. But I want to let you guys know so that way if you pre-order the book, you can go ahead and just order it. You should have gotten back your money on the pre-orders. If not, let me know and I can investigate what's going on with that. That being said, that actually ties into what I actually want to talk about, which is actually how to deal with customer service. So I've dealt with customer service on a number of occasions, this being one of many, and I was telling somebody my experiences with this, and they've recommended that I actually do a video on this because I actually used to work in a call center for customer service, and then you add on the life coaching on top of that, and I have a lot of knowledge on it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to cover 6 big tips that you can use when you're dealing with customer service, because obviously that can be very stressful. So first of all, tip number 1, if you are planning a call center about some sort of issue that you're having in customer service, look up reviews. Now, you might be thinking as you're looking at that idea, why the heck would you want to look up reviews? I already know that this company is terrible. Why would I want to look up stuff that tells me more about that? Well, the reason you want to look it up is reviews tell you how other people experienced interacting with a company. It'll tell you their customer service experience, and through that you can actually learn how a company functions and what things work and what things don't work when you talk to customer service. So for example, we might see that someone tried to ask for a supervisor and it didn't work, or they did and it did. You might actually get people responding to reviews and offering to address issues, which might tell you that you want to write a review yourself and they might fix your problem. Or they might have a phone number that you can contact for someone who's like a vice president of the company or someone who's higher up who's offered to try to help with a problem. And those are various ways that you can get useful information to work with the company. I know with the company that I worked for, which was which I won't actually give you the name of just for privacy reasons and to not badmouth the company because I had a bad experience with them. But the company I worked for, they actually had something called a complaints department. And nobody outside of the company knew about the complaints department. And the general rule is if you had someone who's very unhappy, you sent them there. And the complaints department was a special department where people would get refunds, they would get canceled early out of contracts, all kinds of good stuff. And it was like that was where you wanted to go if you wanted something to happen. But if you didn't know about the company and you didn't maybe look up reviews or make enough of a fuss, you wouldn't have known that that existed. So that's a big thing. Look up reviews. Reviews will give you information on how to interact with customer service in a way that's actually going to benefit you. So that's number 1. Number 2 is be really, really kind and friendly to the person you're talking to. It's very tempting to be angry and pissed off and frustrated and chew out the person you're dealing with, especially if you're in a really frustrating, difficult situation. And the thing to remember is that people who work in customer service, and I know this firsthand, often are just decent people who are trying to make a living. And a lot of the time they have to you're dealing with a stressful situation once. They're dealing with it, 5 days a week, 9 to 5 every day. And they get very exhausted dealing with stressed out, angry, upset customers. And one of the things I can tell you with my experience is if someone was mean and nasty to me, I was a lot less likely to help them. But if somebody was really kind to me, they said really nice things, they said, thank you so much for your help, I know you can help me with this, or, I know it's taking a while to do this, but I can tell you're putting a lot of effort, thank you. If you're very appreciative, very kind, very friendly, I know personally that I would go the extra mile for somebody like that. There were clients who were really nice to me, and I would go on hold with them for, an hour plus, not to ruin their life, but to go to every single department, talk to every single person I could, try to find a solution for them for some really challenging problem, and I would go to the edges of the world to help them because I knew they were being really kind to me and they were treating me decently, which a lot of people don't over the phones. So that's something that's really important. Treat your customer service rep nicely because that will make a huge difference in your experience. The third piece of advice I have for you is to pay attention to who you're talking to. Have a regular log that you write down what you talked about and the name of the person, and if possible, get contact info. How can I reach you again when I call this number? And the goal of this is if you do this regularly, you will have an idea of who works in the department. If you're a regular caller, you'll have an idea who works in the department, and you can kind of figure out who is very new there and who's very experienced over time. If you have somebody who's doing a really good job helping you, then you know that they might be somebody who's more experienced, they seem to be more familiar with the system, and that's somebody where you can then take that number and keep calling them. And then you have somebody who you know is going to really be able to help you. And that's really important because I know when I worked at a call center, we had some people who had been working there for years and some people who were brand new. And the people who were working there for years could do 10 times more for you than somebody who was new. And that's something that's really important to know. So keep track of the people you talk to. If you find someone experienced, hang on to them. So that's number 3. And number 4 is kind of a contrast to the be really nice to your service representative. Also be very firm with them. For better or for worse, as a customer service representative, you may want to be really nice, but your company will often tell you to, if your customer backs down, to take advantage of that. And it's not, the customer service rep might not be malicious, but sometimes the company can be. And it's very important to, if you want a refund, to say, no, I want a refund. Even if your customer service rep offers you something else, to be very clear, this is what I want, and I'm not budging until I get this fixed. Or until I find the solution that I really want with this. And that's just important because I know, like, for example, where I worked, if somebody asked for a supervisor, I wasn't allowed to just automatically escalate people to supervisors. I had to first respond and say, okay, I can send you to a supervisor, but they're going to tell you the same thing. And to be honest, this was a bit of a lie because supervisors often would contradict me. They would go, you know what, we're going to get you out of this, or you know what, we're going to do something nice for you. They might have a change of heart. And so it's very important that you're firm because sometimes you'll say, no, I want to talk to a supervisor, and they will actually forward you to one, and you will actually get somewhere even though people are telling you otherwise. So be comfortable being very firm about what you want. Be willing to stand up for yourself. And you can do this while still being nice. You can still be polite to someone and say, thank you for your help, but I really need this fixed. I can't hang up or I can't leave or I need to keep talking to you about this until we deal something. I can't just walk away. And sometimes if you're stubborn, they will do something about it. So that's a really important tip. Now, for tips 5 and 6, these are for when you're dealing with a company this is when you're having an ongoing issue and you're dealing with a company and it's becoming problematic. This is when you're having really bad customer service experiences. So tip number 5 is be comfortable telling your CSR the consequences of not helping you and be willing to go through with them. So if your CSR says they can't help you and it's a serious issue and you really care about it, say to them that, look, if I can't get this resolved, I'm going to need to file a complaint with the Better Business Bureau, or I'm going to have to file a negative review, or I'm going to have to try to dispute the charge on this. And make it clear that you don't want to do that. That you don't want to do that, but you're going to do that as a necessary consequence of their actions. Because this does 2 things. One, a lot of companies, their invested interest is making sure that they have a good reputation for their customers. So in doing this, you're keeping them kind of honest and making sure that they help you. The other thing is if they give you a bad customer experience, you want people to see that because you want to make sure that other customers don't make the same mistake you did. So it's very important to be comfortable, writing bad reviews, writing complaints, and I mean, if you want to balance it out, make sure you write a good review if you had a good experience. But you want to be comfortable having consequences to deliver to somebody if they're not taking care of your customer service needs. So that's number 5. And then number 6 is the really extreme end of it, which is if you're having severe trouble with a company and they have really bad customer service and you're actually even questioning the legality of what they're doing, you can look into Wiretap Laws. So Wiretap Laws are basically whether you're legally allowed to record a phone call. In the state of Pennsylvania, which is where I am, it is illegal to record a phone call unless both people have agreed to it. But in most states, if you want to, you can download a program on your phone that will allow you to record a call. And as long as you personally say that you are giving permission, and the other person doesn't have to hear it, they don't have to even know that it's been recorded, you can record the call, and then you can use that. And then at some point, if you're having trouble with them and you're hearing them say dishonest things, that later on you can explain to them, like, look, I've recorded every call I've had with you guys. I've got proof that you guys are contradicting yourselves or that you're lying about the situation. Please address this. And many times companies will suddenly change their tune to this because they don't want to get trapped in the legal mess or the bad reviews that they could get for that. So that's basically all I wanted to share with you guys today, was just how to deal with customer service, and it's some very simple tips, and it's very powerful. So that's basically it, and I hope that was helpful, and take care.